Welcome to the London Outlook for Wednesday, the 27th of March 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar, there's Euro Spanish CPI at 10 a.m., which is the London Open. I consider this to be a significant red folder news event as it's related to inflation for a large part of Europe. So for that reason, I won't be trading euro dollar before this news release. I'll rather wait for the news release and then trade in alignment with this news release. Then in terms of the chart, starting with GBPUSD from a daily perspective, there isn't really any three consecutive bullish or bearish candles to induce a daily bias. From a 4H perspective, nothing really has changed from yesterday. We're still in an unconfirmed scenario because of the unconfirmed market structure. As you can see, we changed character right here, and then we failed to break the structure to confirm that we're in a bullish move. For that reason, we trade based on unconfirmed scenario requirements, and that being that we have 4HOB backing a substructure to target an internal range liquidity on our way to target this. All of these elements are present for shorting GBPUSD. As you can see, this reaction to the 4HOB has resulted in a nice move based on the London high of the day yesterday, with the ultimate objective of targeting the substructure right here. That substructure target has not yet been achieved. I think the one thing to be aware of is the fact that we did react to this pro-trend unconfirmed OB, and this pro-trend unconfirmed OB hasn't achieved its target. What is its target? Its target is the substructure higher right here, and that essentially means that we have reasons to both short and long. It also means that when this substructure is achieved, because we're reacting to a pro-trend unconfirmed OB, we will essentially be validating a pro-trend unconfirmed primary leg and associated OBs, which will then become barriers for shorting. So for the time being, I think what's important to note is we're in an unconfirmed scenario, and we have reasons to trade both longs and shorts, and in terms of session high of the day or low of the day options, we have Frankfurt low of the day. Which means for the purposes of the London session, essentially we're looking for either Frankfurt high of the day or low of the day in order to validate trading a particular direction. For that reason, I set both of these alerts to understand when one side of the Asia range is swept, and then also what I will do is set an alert for the London Open just 5 minutes before. So we've got a London Open right here, and we'll set an alert for that as well. So how do we approach the London session? Essentially, option 1 is Frankfurt takes out the Asia high. After the Asia high is taken, London validates the Frankfurt high of the day. We then take a short, provided that we still have the Asia low liquidity to target. Then we'll enter in and around here with the ultimate objective of targeting this. So 1 to 5 should be possible. Alternatively, what can happen is Frankfurt low of the day is created right here. This is then validated by the London session. We take a trade in and around this area, and provided that we have Asia liquidity to the top side, we can then go ahead and take this trade idea on the assumption that the Frankfurt low of the day will hold with the objective of breaking even right here and ultimately reaching a target right here. Obviously, once we validate a new low of the day, then we can validate that all of this IRL is ready to be taken, with the last IRL point being right there. And then similarly, for shorting, the sufficient IRL with the last IRL point being in and around that area. So that's GBPUSD, essentially reasons to trade both directions. However, because there isn't any red folder news events, it means that we are dependent on a Frankfurt high of the day or low of the day trader ideas to materialize. Remember to also ensure that 70% of the ADR is your max target because there is no red folder news events. So that's GBPUSD. Then moving on to EURUSD. Okay, so EURUSD from a daily bias perspective, there isn't 3 consecutive bearish or bullish candles to induce a daily bias, so we rely on the 4H technical analysis narrative to determine our bias. If you want the detail to understand EURUSD's price action, is just looking at yesterday's end of day review where I went into detail, but essentially it's quite complex in the sense that we have also an unconfirmed scenario, but there are far more legs on this pair than on GBPUSD. So the first leg is the Proton previously confirmed primary leg that was validated right here. Then we had a reaction to the Proton unconfirmed, which broke a 4H OB right there, and that validated the Proton unconfirmed primary leg. We then reacted to a primary Proton previously confirmed OB, and that created a secondary leg. Under normal circumstances, 4H OBs that are part of the secondary leg are just considered CPPs. However, in this case, because we have an unconfirmed lower high and we have 4H demand order flow, is suggesting that demand is in control and that price will go and target this unconfirmed lower high. All of these secondary unconfirmed lower high OBs are significant barriers and they provide reasons to trade to the upside. Currently we're somewhat in the middle of nowhere, so we've got alerts set on our substructures to understand where the substructures are being taken out and which new 4H OBs are validated. The thing to point out here is we had a reaction to the Proton unconfirmed primary OB that subsequently broke the secondary unconfirmed lower high. So then the question is this a valid OB to trade from? And the answer to that would be no, because if we trade based on this OB, then this is a secondary leg to the main Proton unconfirmed primary leg, and since it's a secondary, trading this is a new secondary leg, it's invalid for the purpose for the fact that it doesn't have an unconfirmed lower high validated. We only have one unconfirmed lower high, and just for context, we have a higher high with a lower low, and thus this is anticipated to be the lower high, which will take out and make a lower low right here. So for that reason, trading short doesn't make sense, but trading long based on a secondary leg does make sense because we have an indicated objective target which is validated by 4H order flow, and by 4H order flow I mean we have a change of character, then a break of structure, validating that demand is likely in control within this leg. So that's pretty much the EURUSD narrative, with the objective purely to long, because the Proton unconfirmed primary leg reaction here achieved its objective of taking out this substructure level right there. So that means that our next objective would be to have backing to long from this OB. Or alternatively, if we were going to short, we'd need to come into this unmitigated area, and then we could short from here into the nearer substructure low. So that's pretty much EURUSD from a 5-minute perspective. Essentially we're in an unconfirmed scenario and we're waiting for backing for longs only, and that's because from a short perspective we already achieved taking out a substructure low, and thus it only makes sense to take longs from in and around this area, which is why I've got an alert set here. Also we've got Euro Spanish CPI, so I'll wait for that news release, and if that news release takes us into this OB and it supports long EURUSD from this area, then we got a potential trade on our hands. But obviously we need Frankfurt to be the low of the day in order to make sense of trading longs. From my perspective, I think EURUSD is unlikely to provide a trade today, so that's EURUSD, but I've set the alerts and we'll go from there. Then if we move on to USDCAD, so USDCAD is far simpler than others. We've got a confirmed bearish trend. From a daily perspective, there isn't any 3 consecutive bullish or bearish candles, and thus there's no daily bias. So we look to the 4-hour to understand the higher time frame narrative. From this perspective, we're in a clear bearish trend. Like I said, we've got the Proton Extreme, which is interacted with multiple times, evidencing that the pullback phase has achieved its objective. We then had one last deeper push with a candle body break right here, extending the pullback leg. However, since then the pullback last point of supply has failed and validated the Proton primary leg. From this point onwards, there's only reason to short, and we've reacted to the Proton primary OB, wicking it and taking out the liquidity. Like I said, there's only reason to short. So approaching today, essentially we're just looking for shorts. There's no news to validate why a New York-based high of the day or Asia high of the day will hold, and for that reason our only options for trading is looking for a Frankfurt high of the day and validating it by London. So the London, paying attention to the London Open is quite important, and then if we can validate the Frankfurt high of the day, provided that Asia liquidity is still available, we can then take the intended short with the objective of breaking even at the Asia low of the day, and then also potentially partialing at 46 pips, which is 70% of the existing daily range. And then I'd probably keep this trade open because we are in a Proton confirmed scenario and it's a Wednesday, although at this point we're quite far from the high of the week. So for that reason, I'd probably just close the trade at 46 pips. So that's the USD I've got one alert set to tell me when the Asia high of the day is taken out. Provided that Frankfurt validates the Asia high of the day, then we're potentially sitting with the trade opportunity on USD. So that's pretty much the London outlook. I hope you have a good trading session, and we'll chat again at the end of day review. I won't be doing a New York outlook because there's no New York red folder news events, and so if there is a Asia high of the day or low of the day trade idea that is valid, it won't be able to be validated in New York session, and any New York high of the day, low of the day trade ideas won't be able to be validated either. So for that reason, we're only trading the London session this morning, and we'll do an end of day review to round things up at the end of the day.